Yo, what's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. The draft has come, it's gone. And to be honest, from my perspective, the Charlotte Hornets are still left wanting. And I want to dive into that in this video. Smash the like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoy the work that I've been putting out, definitely trying to get to that 1,000 subs. Appreciate all the love and support along the way. Yo, let me just be clear. The critique that I have here around the Charlotte Hornets drafting of Brandon Miller over Scoot Henderson has nothing to do with talent. We all know Brandon Miller is an extremely talented player, even though I think we all understand, or hopefully understand, that he's far more Danny Granger than he is Paul George. He's far more the Chris Middleton than he is the Kawhi Leonard. Right? He's the guy that can be probably a fringe all-star, maybe make a few, maybe even be the second offensive option on a playoff team. And if they have a superstar, he can be that second guy on a championship team. Now, part of me still is wondering, do they even have that first option yet? Because I don't think that's going to be Brandon Miller. I don't think it's LaMelo Ball. I don't think it's Miles Bridges. Who is that number one scorer for a playoff team, a championship team on this roster? That's kind of a side point here, but the talent level, the gravity on offense to lead a team offensively in the playoffs, I think it was Scoot Henderson over Brandon Miller any day of the week. He's been doing it since he was 17 years old. Instead of getting ready for prom, he was dunking on professionals in the NBA G League. But I digress. The critique has more to do with the culture of this team. That Brandon Miller, despite his talent, we all know he had a significant legal issue. Now, he wasn't, no charges were brought up. He was, he was put in the clear. But it was real skeptical that he was in that situation in the first place. Bringing a weapon to somebody, not knowing why you were doing it. They left it at your crib. Why are you kicking it with cats carrying guns? Hey, maybe you're in an open carry state. Okay, cool. Why are you engaged with individuals who are engaging in a lifestyle that could potentially end you in a very precarious position, which it did? Now, this isn't to speak about his talent. We're talking about the culture of the team. Remember, Miles Bridges just missed all of last season for a domestic violence case. We have to recognize that culture is extremely important because we are seeing that with teams like the Memphis Grizzlies and how it can hold you back significantly from achieving your goals. When we think about teams that are trying to take those steps to become a perennial playoff team, to get back to regular winning, to show that they are a franchise that is to be reckoned with and has a chance to potentially compete for a championship, there's a certain culture, a certain level of maturity that you have to have, and you have to have individuals who can lead the way in that maturation. The reason why the Boston Celtics could build around a Jaylen Brown and a Jason Tatum is because these were two extremely mature, professional, consistent, reliable individuals. These were two individuals who came in as professionals. The way they prepared themselves, the way they conducted themselves, the way they showed up, their work ethic, you've seen it in their outcomes. These have been consistent all-star, all-NBA players who have dominated the league for the past 4 or 5 years. The Charlotte Hornets are not there yet. Miles Bridges had one good season, and if you saw my video on him, he's probably closer to a Richard Jefferson than he is a Vince Carter. He's closer to being your third or fourth option on a playoff or even championship team. Definitely probably a fourth option. Probably closer to that. I don't even know if he's as good as Tobias Harris at the same age. Right? He's a little bit better offensively than a Dylan Brooks. But he doesn't bring nearly the amount of defensive pedigree and intensity, because remember, the big difference between the Charlotte Hornets and Memphis Grizzlies is the Memphis Grizzlies play defense. Miles Bridges does not. And yet, he's your leading scorer. second leading scorer with LaMelo Ball. Your two best players don't have the culture of accountability to ensure that their team plays defense. 50% of the game is defense. And neither of their two best players play defense. How do you, I'm going to be real with you. You cannot hold guys accountable in the locker room when you don't play defense. You just can't. You simply cannot. You cannot be that leader. You cannot be that individual who says, look, guys, this is who we are. This is who we are trying to become. This is how we are going to achieve our goals for winning at this level. If they can't even rely upon you to hold down your man. Stephen Curry came into the NBA as a paltry defender. And within a few seasons, he began to dedicate himself to that side of the ball. To now he is an average, to at times a little bit above average, but he no longer can get simply taken advantage of. He can no longer get hunted on the defensive end. The Charlotte Hornets have about 3 or 4 or 5 guys in that starting lineup who all get hunted. Really 3 out of the 5. And now they're bringing Brandon Miller, who's not going to change that. Despite his measurements and his length and his size, he is not known as a defensive player. He's a guy that you're hoping feels a moment of intensity to get himself revved up. You see, I'm a firm believer that guys come in and they are who they are, and they only amplify who they are throughout their professional career. Very few are able to make those transitions and say, I was a bad defender and now I've become a solid defender. But that's the jump. They don't become great defenders. It doesn't matter their measurements. It doesn't matter their physical tools and acumen. If this is not a part of your makeup, it's not who you are. And the culture of the Charlotte Hornets, it's a shame because head coach Steve Clifford is a defensive-minded coach who's got really solid X's and O's. He's not doing anything spectacular, but he does a great job of holding guys accountable. He's almost like Tom Thibodeau, who'll actually play his bench more, but has better X's and O's and adjustments. Unfortunately, he has a team that does not fit his character. For me, Scoot Henderson was a type of player who was going to fit his identity and character. He was a guy that the coach is going to lean on and say, hey, you are going to bring a level of intensity to this team. I'm sorry, but as good as LaMelo Ball is, he does not scream intensity. He does not scream, let's get locked in and ready for this big game. Miles Bridges does not either. Terry Rozier does not either. Gordon Hayward, too far past his prime, and that's never been him either. PJ Washington, maybe a little bit. Mark Williams, at least he plays defense, but he's kind of a quiet guy. Who on this team is going to be the voice in the locker room that says, let's get focused and locked in? And this has been my issue with the Charlotte Hornets and how they draft. They're getting talent. They're not getting culture. They're getting size and athleticism. They're not getting winning culture. They're getting guys to be excited about who might do highlights, who might ooh and ah you like a James Bouknight, but they don't breed winning culture. And that is something that has to be addressed with the Charlotte Hornets. Because mark my words, after this season, and LaMelo Ball's extension kicks in, and they're probably going to be a play-in tournament team again, and I definitely wouldn't put them over a team like the Orlando Magic. I wouldn't put them over, I wouldn't put them over Atlanta. I don't know if I'd put them over Chicago. Definitely not Miami, definitely not Boston, definitely not Milwaukee, definitely not Philly. Right? When we start looking at the makeup of this team and who they're competing against, who are they better than? Does Brandon Miller move the needle? I believed Scoot immediately moved the needle. This is something that it's frustrating because how they have drafted, how they have put their teams together has always been questionable. I think they maybe did a little bit better kind of putting Kemba Walker as a cornerstone, and when they had Al Jefferson and bringing guys like, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, great culture guy, but talent-wise, they missed out on Bradley Beal. I get there's a lot of negative talk around Bradley Beal. He's still a guy who averaged 30 for a couple of seasons, all right? Better than anyone the Charlotte Hornets have had. So let's just be clear. I'm not disappointed with the Charlotte Hornets pick because of talent. I'm disappointed because of the culture and the opportunity that they had to shift it to become a winning franchise. Now, I'm still going to check out a few of their games, but I'm not holding my breath because, like I said, are they better than Orlando? Are they better than Toronto? They're better than Miami, Chicago, Atlanta, the teams that were in the play-in last year or just barely missing it. Who are they better than? The needle has not moved. But as always, I want to know what you think. Holler at me in the comment section. Like, subscribe, trying to get to those 1,000 subs. Hit the bell for notifications, and I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.